Singapore, in the heart of Southeast Asia, has become one of the region's busiest and most high-tech cities, a melting pot of races with a strong colonial past. Everything here runs like clockwork, including the golf courses, which are among Asia's best. Sitting almost on the equator, there are nearly 5 million people crammed into what is essentially a tiny island stuck on the end of the Malaysian peninsula, with 4 official languages and more nationalities and cultures than you can shake a stick at. This place feels like a real crossroads of humanity. I love it. This is my first course in Singapore, Laguna National, home of several prestigious tournaments and reputed to be one of the toughest courses in the country. There are actually 2 courses here, the Classic and the one I'm playing today, the Masters. With its location near Singapore's Changi Airport, this place can get a little noisy, but the design and condition of this course make it one of the best around. Built by Andy Dye, young pretender to Uncle Pete's course design dynasty, this 6,504-metre course uses pronounced fairway mounds and a lot of water to create a complete test of a golfer's shot-making ability. Or so it says in the brochure. So let's find out.
Laguna, it doesn't get any better than this. I mean, just look round there, it's just beautiful to look at. Great for the eye. Good, relaxed atmosphere. The weather's fantastic. The courses are well kept. The people that serve you around here are so friendly. You get the full package, and it's good value for money as well.
I'm playing today with the owner of Laguna National, local businessman and entrepreneur, Peter Quee.
Shall we make a $50 hole, this one?
$50 a hole?
Ah, you can do it, no worries.
You bet a lot in Singapore?
Oh, Singaporeans like betting, because part of the fun is betting.
What sort of sums?
Well, it starts from $5. Some people even bet 1,000, but not me.
$1,000 a hole?
Yes, 1,000 a hole.
That's ridiculous. Okay, 50.
50?
50.
Okay, done.
I've never bet 50 a hole, but as we're in Singapore and you guys bet a lot, let's go.
Oh, water. That's my $50 gone.
So if I put this on the dance floor, I'm $50 up. That looks like it's on. It's on.
Oh, fantastic, Ian. So no $100 then?
Well, let's do 50 on this one, but you never know.
Well done.
I tell you what, I should have doubled the bet to $100. I mean, he's in the water. I'm up and down for 2 and a par.
Bit long.
Looks like it's going to be my hole, and I'm $50 up. I could get to like this betting lark. 1 hole played and I'm a richer man. Bring it on, buddy. Singapore's well known for its rules and regulations, and they extend to the golf course. There's even a special spot where you need to park your buggy on the path, and I've missed it. I just hope I don't get a ticket. And if you've ever lain awake at night wondering how to repair a pitch mark properly, fear not. Here they explain, with pictures. What are the habits of a Singapore golfer? What are the stresses and strains? Are they very busy?
We like to be systematic, Singaporean.
So the very busy workaholic Singapore golfer comes here, plays his holes, boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
Leaves, goes back to work.
Yes, that's right. We try to finish the golf, 18-hole golf within half a day. And then half a day we go to office.
Your shot?
So this is a $100 hole, right?
What, $100 a hole?
Let's go for it.
$100 a round, right?
$100 a hole.
Looks like I'm going to lose my money, I think. I was given this earlier, it's my tee time, and this tells me where I should be. I'm on the 11th, I should have taken 17 minutes on that hole. My cumulative time should be 1 hour 26, means I'm 8 minutes and 14 seconds behind schedule. I better get going. The 18th is the signature hole here at Laguna. It's a relatively short 351-metre par 4 with a 300-metre bunker and a lot of water to the right and trees and bunkers to the left. The trick here is to play your tee shot to the left of the fairway and set up a short iron into the long, narrow green. That's where I want to be.
Good shot.
Well, that went quite a long way, a bit to the left.
Good hit.
We both hit great tee shots, well up the fairway, steering clear of the water and that amazing bunker on the right, leaving perfect approach shots in from about 100 metres. Peter's up the middle and mine slightly further on and just in the left rough. Oh, beautiful.
Good shot.
He's going for it. Oh!
Yep. That's good.
Peter's second was an absolute peach, hit right into the heart of the green and setting up a birdie putt. Now, maybe it's because this green is right in front of the clubhouse, but I hit an equally good approach and was also putting for a 3. I just hope someone was watching from the bar. Not bad.
Okay.
Goes. Well, neither of us ended up with a birdie. We squared it.
Okay.
But a pair of honourable pars isn't bad. Right, so the last hole was squared, but I owe you $50 for the round.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Well, it was a great, yeah. It's expensive golf in Singapore, isn't it?
Thank you very much.
Well done. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. When people think of classic hotels in Singapore, it's Raffles that usually comes to mind. But there's plenty of other alternatives, like this one, the Fullerton, which also has an interesting history. The Fullerton Hotel was built in 1928 on the site of Fort Fullerton, which was named after the first governor of the Strait Settlement. With its distinguished Doric columns and vast atrium, it represents the height of Palladian architecture in Singapore, only rivalled by the nearby City Hall and Supreme Court. In its time, it's been the General Post Office and the Chamber of Commerce. Doric columns apart, it's pretty luxurious as well. Not a bad poolside view. There's the heart of the city, and that's the historic Singapore River. I might go and have a look. The Singapore River was the heart of economic activity in the early days. On this side of the river, boats carrying goods to and from the trading port would dock, and on this side, the buildings of the colonial administration were located. The boats have gone, but the buildings are still here. They housed the bureaucracy that came with the expansion of the British Empire and the arrival of an English visionary. So here he is, Sir Stamford Raffles, or rather a statue of Raffles, erected on the exact spot where he landed and set up a trading port in 1819. Raffles' vision was that this port should be free from tax and open to all. That vision broke Dutch economic superiority in the East Indies, and it's still the foundation of economic life in Singapore today. If you need any further indication of Singapore's attachment to its Britishness, come here to the Padang, a large area of open space right in the heart of the city. This real estate must be worth billions, but it's still the site of the Singapore Cricket Club. There's even a Speaker's Corner here, modelled on London's Hyde Park, except this is Speaker's Corner Singapore style. If you want to give a speech, you've got to submit the speech first to the police station located here at the corner and give them 30 days advance notice. There's also quite a lot of other rules and regulations as well. All the Singaporeans I've spoken to can never actually recall seeing anyone give a speech here. I wonder why. Come to think of it, some of the laws in this place are a little bizarre. All these rules and regulations have made Lee Kuan Yew, the founder of modern Singapore, a bit of a controversial character. But Mr. Lee's been on the scene for a long time. Only one living person has met more world leaders, and that's the Queen of England. And Mr. Lee's bubblegum-free Singapore certainly has its supporters. I mean, look at this pavement. It's spotless. The next course I'm playing is Sentosa. It's set on an island resort, 500 metres off the coast. There are actually two courses here, and they both offer spectacular views across the water to downtown Singapore. There's the Tanjong, and the one I'm playing, the Serapong. So here are So let me introduce our Singapore golfing celebrities. Hannes Huffy, Huffy.
Okay, that's it.
Hannes Huffy. Hannes Huffy. Hannes Hussey, formerly Singapore's top supermodel who plays off 8. Vivian Tan, one of Singapore's top TV presenters who plays off 28. And Rod Montero, Singapore's top radio DJ who plays off 7. Boys versus girls, let's go.
Watch the out of bounds.
Oh dear.
Wow.
That's good, that's perfect. We've only just started when I'm reminded that we're playing golf in the tropics. The siren goes off for a lightning warning and we all have to leave the course.
I have a saying, when the siren goes, I bolt.
Siren goes, I bolt.
I had an uncle who was playing golf. The siren went off. He was on the way back to the clubhouse and he got hit by lightning and died, sadly enough.
No.
Yeah. And the lightning hit the ground, went straight up. And lost my uncle. There you go.
So after about an hour's break, it's back out onto the course. Now here are our balls. We gotta beat these girls.
We're good.
What's Singlish? I've heard about Singlish.
Singlish is a dialect of English that is spoken in Singapore. If I want to say something like, why you don't give me face lah?
Why don't you give me a face on?
Yeah.
What's that?
Is, how come you're backstabbing me? What else, ah? Singlish, ah, Rod. Your Singlish much better than mine lah.
I don't know lah. I speak the Queen's English what.
We got Queen's English, walao. Your England so powderful. Your England very powderful. Just whack the ball, ah.
Yeah. Oh, beauty!
Wow, good shot, huh?
What do you mean it's a bunker? It face the green. It's like right next to the flag. Just close your eyes and whack it, Rod.
How many is that? 36? Thank you. Thanks, Rod.
Honourable draw.
Here's another hazard at Singapore golf courses, the cobra. Apparently they grow to up to 6 feet long, so don't venture too far into the rough looking for your ball. Apparently there haven't been many sightings for quite a while, but the golf courses leave them here to speed up play. I'm getting out of here. The Serapong is a par 72, 6,349 metre course, which has been voted the most scenic course in Asia. It was modernised in 2001 and this year hosted the $2 million Singapore Open. I turned up on practice day and caught up with champion golfer Lee Westwood. So what's it like playing in Southeast Asia?
Obviously it's a lot hotter, but the golf courses are slightly different types of grasses. The greens are a little bit more grainy. You can adapt to it fairly easily, but all the golf courses are very good. They're well maintained and all a good test of golf.
And what about Serapong, Lee? Have you played here before?
I haven't, no, so I'm looking forward to playing. I've heard it's very difficult and they've set it up hard.
And Asian golfers generally, how are they doing these days?
I think the standard is improving all the time. I think we've got some very good Asian players from all across Asia, really. Every time I come back, it seems to have improved.
Back over on the mainland, and it's time to check out one of Singapore's biggest attractions. This is Chinatown. Everywhere you go in Chinatown, there are reminders of the past. Much of early Singapore was built by forced labourers brought in from southern China, known as coolies. And this street, Pagoda Street, was the site of many coolie holding stations. This small shop house, number 37, housed more than 200 coolies. And not surprisingly, in such a small space, conditions were horrific. The story of those bygone days in early Chinatown is told here at the Chinese Heritage Centre, which is a fascinating museum and well worth a visit. This is Andre Yip, who's a descendant of the Chinese coolies. But most of the Chinese were brought here by the British to develop Singapore as a trading port.
That's true. The Chinese were taken in here because there was a great demand for labor even in Singapore. And racketeers both in the West and in the East began to seize the opportunity to organize the emigration of labor from China. And these laborers, we call them coolies, actually it's a Chinese word meaning hard labor. Of course, there are people who left China on their own, but many of them, they were tricked or abducted or terrorized into leaving China. Some were brought in by boats, which are living hells on the boat. Very overcrowded conditions. Many of these coolie houses were run along the basis of a few hundred people living in a small cubicle. It's not just a few people living in a room.
What sort of jobs did the Chinese do here in Singapore?
Many of them were in construction work, in carpentry, bricklaying, the rubber, pepper plantations and so on. Conditions are very bad because many of these coolies who came here, 2/3 of them were opium smokers. So with the opium supplied by the British government from British India, and in Singapore in 1823, there were 423 government-run opium shops in Singapore.
But like everywhere else in Singapore, Chinatown is changing fast, with a lot of these shop houses being renovated and gentrified. Like Chinatown, other ethnic districts in Singapore, like this area around Arab Street and Little India, are being renovated too. Next, I'm leaving Singapore altogether and going to play golf in another country. Because Singapore's golf courses can be both crowded and expensive, many golfers head across the border to Malaysia or take this 45-minute ferry ride to the island of Bintan in Indonesia. The Banyan Tree Resort on Bintan is a super luxurious hotel and spa with its own golf course. You stay in these amazing Balinese-style thatched roof cottages. Some of them have their own pools. There are some great restaurants here and an idyllic pool set right on a beautifully secluded beach. Whilst here, it's rude not to check out the spa treatments. All that walking on the golf course. My feet are in a bad state, I think. Foot massage, essential oils massage, and banana leaf shower. Fantastic. Look at this, there's a beach with no one on it and a golf course with no one on it either. This is Nirvana. This is a Greg Norman design course with some gorgeous holes that run right down to the seashore.
We have guests from Korea, Japan and Europe, everywhere. That's why a lot of golfers who like to take their time to play, they usually like to come to Bintan rather to play in Singapore when there's a lot of golfers pushing from behind.
Just 15 minutes drive away from the Banyan Tree Resort is the course that I've come to play, the Ria Bintan Golf Club. And I must say, this is one of the most beautiful courses that I've ever visited. Opened for golf in 1998, there are two 18-hole championship courses here, the Forest and the Ocean. Both designed by Gary Player, they've been carved out of virgin rainforest and run right down to the beach, affording fantastic views out across the South China Sea. No wonder this place was voted top course in Indonesia. I'm playing with Stephanie Martins, who runs Golf Plus, which provides visiting golfers with packages including transport, tee times, and anything else they need to play the courses in and around Singapore.
Oh, sounds good. Sweet.
This is a spectacular course, isn't it?
Isn't it just beautiful? The jungle there and the sea right behind us.
And there's not many people, well, there's hardly anybody here, so not many people really know about it, do they?
No, it's like a hidden gem.
You deal with a lot of travelling golfers. I mean, where do they come from?
We still have the Japanese, but see a lot of Americans, a lot of Europeans, a few people from South Africa and Australia. So basically from all around the world. I mean, some nationalities, you know what they are because it's like check trousers and floral shirts. So
who's that?
Do I have to say this? Koreans.
And of course, the Australians are the best dressed, right?
Well, you know, the problem
Joking.
in Singapore, because the courses are all private courses, they're very strict on dress code. So some Australians may not get on the course.
Being a Gary Player design, the bunkers on this 6,470 metre par 72 ocean course are the most prominent hazard. But the geography also has a lot to do with making this an extremely tough test of golf. You just have to look at the par 3 ninth to see what I mean. At 138 metres, you have to play your tee shot out over a gorgeous little bay and onto the green, which sits on a promontory of rock that gives the impression of growing out of the rainforest itself. The green is long and narrow and is guarded by more of those Gary Player bunkers.
Yay.
There you go.
Beat that.
That's a hot shot, Stephanie. Well, that was incredible. 138 metres is right at the limit of Stephanie's range. She hit a driver and finished up about 6 metres from the pin. I couldn't have hit a better 5-iron right into the heart of the green, ending up with a 3-metre putt for a birdie. Fantastic. There are some big slopes on this green and they're quite difficult to read, with the whole thing running down towards the sea. So a pair of threes was an excellent result here.
Yay!
Hey.
There was one time when I had this group of golfers that wanted 3 golf courses in one day. We did it, but I tell you,
They're obsessed.
They couldn't swing a club the next morning.
They played 54 holes in a day.
Yep.
That's sad. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you're staying in Singapore, there's one hotel that springs to mind straight away. Well, there it is. No visit to Singapore is complete without dropping in at the historic Raffles Hotel. Raffles was taken over by an American company a few years ago. It was extended and an arcade of shops was added that has certainly made the place, well, more commercial. But some things never change. I met Geraldine Lowe, who filled me in on the Raffles traditions.
But I think Raffles is very famous for this institution of having salmon sandwiches and some scones.
I'm really going to go for one of these scones, I think.
Well, I guess they're typical English scones. They specialize in cucumber sandwiches in the old days, and maybe some egg sandwich.
How popular a place was Raffles 60, 100 years ago?
Oh, it was the place to come. Very often people would come here for lunch, having got up at 4 in the morning and worked from 5 till 1, so there was always lunch or tiffin. And then 4 o'clock everyone used to meet across the road at the Padang. And in those days it was known as Scandal Point, so that was where all the scandal and the gossip of the colony were exchanged and people would see who was there to be seen. So it just became the thing to do, I guess, that you stayed at Raffles when you're in Singapore. So it built up this wonderful reputation.
Why do you think the hotel became so famous?
Well, over the years, anybody who was anybody and travelled, they had to stay at Raffles in Singapore. And famous film stars and heads of state and all sorts of writers have lived here and got their inspiration.
The colonial district is concentrated in a very small area, isn't it?
Well, when Raffles arrived, he made the first town plan after he got permission to trade. And he used the rivers to divide up the town. So the Singapore River was the boundary, and everything on this side of the river was colonial area. And it stretched all the way down the other end of Beach Road, where there's another river, the Rocho River, and that became a boundary of the Muslim area and the Indian quarter.
Today, that Muslim quarter, or Little India as it's known, is a bustling area with its own very definite identity. But here, as in the rest of this amazing city, buildings are constantly being altered and improved. But there's still pockets of traditional life left here, like this Muslim halal restaurant. And I'm going to order myself a mutton murtabak. This looks great. That is good. Being on the equator, the sun drops like a stone here. But as the night wraps itself comfortably around this dynamic city, Singapore still has a surprise in store for the adventure golfer. Singapore's golf courses are, as you'd expect, of a very high standard, and they're beautifully maintained. A round is expensive here, and it can get really hot as well. But the Singaporeans have got an answer for that. Night golf. See you next time.